Yeah, it was a pretty interesting start. The breeze in New York, well, wasn't there. It didn't really exist. So the start of the race was a little hectic. We were getting flushed out of the harbor. We had no wind. Everyone had reaching sails up, and it was kind of a roll of the dice on who was going to get out of there. We were lucky in that we got a little bit of breeze, and we were able to leg out and be the first boat out of the harbor. But the start was interesting because it kind of set the tone for the rest of the race, which was you had to deal with what you had where you were. There was no rhyme or reason necessarily to what was going on. You just had to make the best of the conditions you were thrown.
You know, it's the funny thing about offshore racing is the boats spread out, and then you don't see anybody, and you're like, where are they? I don't know. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And then you realize everybody's coming to the same mark, and they just all come in from different places. So it was interesting to see that nobody had a terribly wrong solution to get there.
Our first sail choice, which was to go with our upwind code 0, and it was a right sail choice for getting out. As we got outside the harbor, the wind went aft a little bit. We needed a bigger reaching sail up, so we got past. Then the wind went forward, and we were able to get our upwind sail up and leg out on the 3 boats. At that point, we looked at each other like this. We should tack. Didn't tack.
And just sort of held on
watched
to
the
it.
2 boats inside us just reach away.
Well, there's a wind shift. I heard it on the VHF radio. It was that kind of a wind shift where it's like
God came down and said, "Turn right."
Yeah.
We didn't turn right.
We're like, no,
And
no, God.
That's where it went pear-shaped.
Yes.
The day started out, we rounded that turning mark ahead of all but Icarus, who we passed pretty early. We made another sail decision after we rounded the mark, which turned out to be the wrong decision, which allowed Dragon to get ahead of us. And at daybreak, we made a conscientious decision to head due east and kind of reached below Dragon, heading to the eastern side of the race course.
Yeah, we wanted to be not on the windward side of Dragon. We knew there was a shift coming.
Yeah,
so
we had figured out what we thought the weather was going to work, and we were even with those guys. Managed to avoid a big hole they got into, and we're feeling pretty special for a long time today until we got to Block Island. You know, truthfully, both of us were feeling pretty fatigued at that turning mark because we had done so much work up to that point, which is a big part about these boats, is just pacing yourself and making sure you can get through the next maneuver cleanly.
Because Rob comes from fully crewed racing where he just sort of he's like, hey, go do that. And then he's like, oh man, I have to do that sail change. And then he's up there on the bow, and then it happens, and he's like,
lazy.
And we're all like,
say it lazy.
And then we're like, damn it. You know, like we don't have 6 or 7 other guys to get rid of this sail change. You know, it's
so when you
it's
make
a different kind of racing. You have to just really be an old man about it.
The way we had set up by heading east, we wanted to go to the eastern side of Block Island because basically just based on wind, and I was a little terrified of the current to the western side of Block Island, and I didn't think there was going to be as much wind based on the direction the wind was coming from, which was, again, almost due east. As we approached Block Island, we kept getting headed, meaning the wind kept shifting away from where we were, and that made our easy decision kind of difficult. And at that point, we saw Dragon, which kind of was
a surprise.
I'm not going to swear in this interview, but a holy cow moment. And we were somewhat committed there, and we couldn't get, if we decided to go to the other side of Block, the western side of Block, we were going to be definitely behind. So we were the only boat, I think, to go to the eastern side, and that was, we knew we were behind at that point.
And we didn't have any good information, like current information coming on the board about, what was happening with the tides and that sort of thing.
Saw everyone for the first 170 miles or so of the race, maybe 160 miles of the race. Yeah. And then we separated away, and about another 40 miles, and then we're able to see each other. We ended up getting a breeze that nobody else got and sailed away from them, and I knew at that point we had a problem because, we don't have position reports coming onto the boat. So I was like, we can't see them anymore. We can't cover them. They disappeared.
Now it's
It's
an
easier to
open
race
game,
when you can see
you
your
know?
competition.
Yeah, much easier, because all you have to do is stay between them and the mark. So. Oh shoot.
Oh, Mom, I love you so.
I mean,
and my
yeah,
wife.
I was going to do that anyway.
I called my mom yesterday. I hope
Happy
everyone on this
Mother's
dock
Day.
called their mom yesterday too, because that's how much I love my mother.
This has been fantastic racing. Like, this is a great way to sail. It's really close. It's interesting. It's tough. You know, doing sail changes and you know, and also being able to come in and have interviews and actually get this kind of racing out to the people. The way you're doing it, I think is fantastic. It's really awesome. That to me was the most exciting thing about the finish, to be honest, was just seeing what was going on here. So, thank you.